Hello and welcome to Sion Pedets again. So, we have the final wave, my favorite, of the invasion of Tyran Primus. Again, this is the first contact recorded with Hive Behemoth and with the Tyranids. It's where they got their name. So, a little backstory from the other videos if you have not watched them yet. One, also, I've been progressively working on getting the visual to just get better and better with each recording. So I'm hoping that even though there's a massive amount of units, that it will still play. So, but back to the lore. The Space Marines are not actually here. They're supposed to be kind of a little bit of like robotic troops, and then some catechin, and then some units similar to the Imperial Guard. But kind of replace them with a few Space Marines and Imperial Guards because I don't have a mod for the actual real units that would be there. There wouldn't have been any Dreadnoughts, there wouldn't have been Whirlwinds, but again, did it for visual effects and also kind of give the Imperium a fighting chance. So, with the backstory, the first wave was a scouting wave from the Tyranids, and it was, I think, a few dozen or more hive ships that came to shoot millions of spores and just flood the planet with scouting force. Okay? And really, the defense station kind of just, wiped the floor with them, especially with the planetary las cannons, the ships in orbit, as well as the Thunderhawks and the autocannons. They just kind of shredded the first invasion. Now, the wildlife that was in the ocean, not so much, but the defenses, they were able to actually hold off without too many losses. But with that, hubris sets in, and they think, okay, we've got this, we've got them on the run. So they chase the retreating hive ships out of orbit. It's out of the planetary las cannon range, as well as the autocannons. And then all of a sudden they get past the spore cloud that was in orbit, that was blocking everything. And they realize it's not just dozens of hive ships, it's thousands upon thousands of them. And once they realize their mistake, they try to turn back, but then the ships that they were chasing turn back and surround them and consume them, and basically just shred them to pieces. So they weren't actually retreating at all, it was just a feint. And it was just to set them up because they wanted to get rid of the orbital protection so it could make the land invasion more successful, which it did. That being said, instead of it being a small 1.8 million scouting force, now we have 11 million that are coming to the remaining 112,000 of the Imperium forces. If you know the lore, this planet didn't have a chance, and I'm not going to make it so they do. So no orbital bombardments for this video, and just a god-awful amount of Tyranids against a small force of Space Marines. There is, I think it's primarily 8 million Hormagaunts, and then a few hundreds of thousands of the higher units, which is kind of similar and realistic. And then I think it's like 3 million Termagaunts, but it's still far sufficient to batter the already battered station of Tyran Primus. That being said, let's begin. And really, according to the battle, they didn't really get any room to breathe because they thought they were just chasing retreating ships, and as soon as they wiped them out, they just set full bore everything. So these people would have been fighting for almost a whole day straight to just get bombarded with basically billions of units all across the planet. That's just a crazy shot. No matter where you fire in the darkness, there's just millions and millions of more claws and teeth swarming towards you. Really, at this point, everybody at the defense station knew they were doomed. So they actually hid a codex and basically launched it to a bottom of the station with the hope that eventually when somebody came to see everything gone, at least they would be able to find that data and hopefully save the rest of humanity. Let's go look at them just swarm the beach. Just miles and miles of millions and millions of units. The unfortunate thing about a Tyranid invasion too is that any losses they take, if they win, they're not losses. They're just going to eat their dead bodies and make some more. It's cool seeing the artillery shot. It's raining bullets and they're just... I just love seeing that artillery shot come from long a ways. Then just bam. It's a whole flock of bladed Gallimimuses. Oh, and I did adjust the settings of the AI for the Imperium because They got so cocky, they just decided, oh, we're going to go and charge, until they realized, oh, we're dead. Which they would have had much less casualties if they would have stayed back, but at this point in the battle it doesn't matter because there's so much everywhere. Gosh, look at that. Unfortunately, there will be no bombardments to save them because they've already eaten all of the ships. Gosh, just look at that. Yep, unfortunately they have already breached one side of the defense platform / station. And they are just swarming everywhere. I'll give the IA a chance to think before I find its next target. There is 6 million against 28,000. Let's do a wide shot. They're still pouring out of the ocean. Slash Bastion. Unfortunately, when the reinforcements come from the other side of the cliffs, it's going to really pincher these last units. That green aura is just millions and millions of Termagant shot. There's just so many of them that it makes it look so bright. terrorists. It's so bright. He's just looking at it. That is just crazy. Oh, and the reinforcements are starting to arrive, I think. The AI finally kicked in. Wow. No matter where they look, there's just shots upon shots. These brave souls. Yep, here they come. Oof, 6 million against 1,000. Not sure what they're shooting at. Where are these last few? And all of these bodies are just biomass, just to fuel the next invasion. Let's just appreciate the battlefield. Obviously, this wave was much quicker. And so Tyran Primus has fallen.